Now, our series this week examining the Beeching railway cuts 60 years ago comes to an end today with a look at the impact on travel habits. Since the 1960s, bus routes have also steadily declined, meaning in many rural and semi-rural areas it is difficult to get around without a car. We're looking at what happened to the rail network in part of West Sussex. The Steyning line between Shoreham and Horsham used to carry commuters to London, pupils to school and goods for local industries until it closed. Sean Killick has been to Henfield to find out how getting about has changed.
This is Henfield railway station in its glory days, used by commuters, school children and day trippers. But it closed in 1966 and a housing estate was built in its place. Its name a lasting reminder of the man synonymous with huge cuts to Britain's rail network, Dr. Richard Beeching. One of those closed was the Steyning line, which connected Shoreham and Horsham, serving local brick and cement works, as well as several market gardens and nurseries sending produce to London. It's a fond part of childhood memories for lifelong locals such as Maureen Fletcher.
If we look down across the fields, there's a lovely little cottage over there, and there's a row of telegraph poles, and along there the old railway used to run, going up to Partridge Green in the distance there and on to Horsham. We used the railway line to go off to Brighton, and then we'd go down to the beach in the summer as we didn't have a car. So we did use the train. We went to school, went to Steyning, and it took only 7 minutes to get there. It's only 3 miles away by train. If you go around the road, it's 7 miles. And we got there very quickly. It was very convenient, and after the railway closed, we ended up going on buses. So we had great convoys of buses going out of the village.
I think the plan is right.
When the Beeching cuts were rolled out, extra bus services were organised to provide alternative public transport, including along the Steyning line, boosting an already healthy level of bus routes. But within 5 years, old timetables show there was a big reduction in routes and frequency. Rail passengers hadn't switched to buses because journeys took longer, or they could share lifts with someone who had a car. It was a trend that mirrored big changes in British society. In 1963, more than 12 million bus passenger journeys were taken in Great Britain. By 2019, that was down to 4.5 million. That's because car ownership has rocketed. At the time of Beeching's report, there were 7.5 million cars on the road. Today, it's 32 million. These days, the buses don't run in the evenings, and daytime frequencies have been reduced since the pandemic. For people who don't drive, such as Lisa Futcher, it makes living here a challenge.
Yeah, I'd just say generally dreadful, because you're trying to time things around everything else. For example, if you've got an appointment in, for example, Burgess Hill, you can't get there, and you have to get there an hour early, or you have to pay for a taxi, which is just ridiculous pricing. I'm literally relying on people for lifts.
Henfield Museum houses the village's artefacts from those distant days of steam, and even has a model of the old station. But what if it hadn't been closed, or by some highly unlikely miracle, the line could be restored?
I think it would make everyone's lives a little bit better. My generation would like to travel more, and then they can have more opportunities to go out a bit more and explore, for example, London, Horsham a little bit.
There's a lot of debate about this. If we had a train, it would take vehicles off the road, but we always look at railways with rose-tinted glasses, and we're all very nostalgic. And in one way, if we'd kept our station and had our railway, we'd probably grow like Topsy. It would like Burgess Hill. It's just huge now because that's their nearest station, and it just keeps growing and growing because they've got the London to Brighton line. There's fors and against having a train.
Decades on, the debate about the changes signalled by Dr. Beeching hasn't run out of steam. Sean Killick, BBC South Today, Henfield.
A historic swimming baths in Swindon is closing for 18 months for renovation work. The high